So, getting on the property tax aspect, what are you seeing right now in the property tax market? That's right now.
Overall.
Yeah.
So at a very high level, and I think this is on everyone's mind, I know it's on a lot of our clients' mind, is the return to office, right? I think COVID accelerated remote working, and now we have hybrid working as a lot of offices and firms are doing the return to office, right? So there's a normalization of hybrid work. My firm personally is we're doing 3 days in the week. We are allowing hybrid work for certain roles. Some roles require in office, and we just think that that's probably the better play for certain people, certain roles. There is a level of collaboration that goes with that. There's a level of productivity that goes with that, that we're seeing that we're just being more productive, more effective in the office. I think right now, what that has generated in the market is that there's a lot more vacancy in
Mhm.
office, what we call a flight to class. We're seeing because there's increased vacancy, you're seeing a decline in rental rates. The decline in rental rates is providing opportunity for people that may be in a B or C class building to move into an A,
This
you
makes
know?
sense. Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of that. I think that's probably the biggest thing we're seeing in the market right now is the decline in office, a stabilization in multifamily. Industrial still going to remain the sweetheart class because of e-commerce and retail. I think a light's being shown on retail right now because retail hasn't really gone anywhere the past couple of years. Every focus from an investor perspective, a lot of the REITs were going to be on industrial or multifamily because they had the biggest returns. And we're seeing that's no longer the case. So now the appraisal district is looking elsewhere to get their money.
Yeah. I understood the purpose by having people work remotely, but I'll be honest with you, Derek, I was not a fan of it. I just think you just see a reduction in the quality of work. The adage that I always like to point out there is you go get a gym membership, right? You're much more likely to go to the gym because you're going to be in an environment that's conducive to success. Same thing goes for work. I don't know how many stories that are out there, Derek, where people buy home workout equipment and it ends up just being they put their clothes on it,
I
throw
was
it
going
on
to
top.
say it's a bit of clothes rack, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think like I know people say I don't have to drive back and forth to work, so I'm saving on time for all that. But the reality is in our office, right? If one of our staff members has a question, they can just march right upstairs to Rick or myself, right? Ask those questions. They're working for home. They have to navigate things and see if I'm available, if he's available. And it just seems like efficiency goes down, right? But I think not to get too far off track, I think that we're starting to see a trend where the older mentality of you have to be in the office all the time is coming back to play now. It's trending in that direction at least.
So it absolutely is, right? So what we saw from COVID was the remote. Remote's the way, right? And then everyone realized remote is not the way. To
No.
your point around that effectiveness, collaboration aspects. And I like the routine, right? I like the pageantry around getting up, getting ready, going into the office.
Yep.
That's my generation, right? So I get some of these younger generation, also the people that came into the workforce during COVID may not have that. What I would say is what we're seeing in the market, right? The relationship between what your firm is doing, what my firm is doing in the office market is that it's changing. So while I think there's going to be a dip in office, I think there's going to be an increase in vacancy. I think there's going to be that flight to class I discussed. I think what's going to happen is it'll eventually come back. It just may look different, right? So some of the older suburban offices may get repurposed as
Mhm.
life sciences. Some of the downtown, especially the ones that qualify for reinvestment zones or revitalization, may get some government assistance, may get some abatements, some pilot programs, things of that nature could be converted into data centers, right? Which is big with AI and some of the other factors. I know your company's real big into AI right
Yes, we
now.
are. Yep.
So I think it's evolving. I think it's changing. I think office is going to be the most affected.